Hello, good morning. My name is Surina. I am a surgical training doctor and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Life has really been getting in the way recently, but this was the week I decided it was time to get my shit together. After making it to the gym, I got to work, showered and changed, and today I was down for ward round. We were well staffed with not too many patients, and let's be honest, we love a good, short ward round on surgery, so I was able to spend the rest of the morning catching up on endless admin in the office, such as updating my logbook, sending assessments to my seniors, and making progress on various research projects. This year, I made it a golden rule to keep work admin at work and try and use time like this to catch up on it when I can. Otherwise, it's a sad, slippery slope once it starts taking up your free time too. In the afternoon, I reviewed a few patients who were unwell and then read up about the patients on the operating list for the next day. It was a pretty slow, albeit useful day, to be honest, until a bit of a surprise, exciting ending. Guess who I just did an operation with?
It's your boy.
That is big. So for those of you who don't know, my husband is also a surgical trainee and we work in the same hospital, which is such a treat. And every now and then we get to operate together, which was a nice unexpected part of today. We did a laparoscopic appendicectomy and I think it went all right. Yes.
We'll find out tomorrow.
So yeah, what a great end to the day. As if things couldn't get more exciting, it was time for a grocery shop. And guys, the way I thought this angle was so artsy at the time, and now I edit it and it looks so bad. You live and you learn. After the shop though, instead of cooking dinner, we accidentally slipped and fell into a restaurant and had some yummy pizza and pasta instead. In our defence, Vig had been on call all weekend doing 13-hour shifts, and so we hadn't actually caught up in days. Such is the reality of both doing general surgery. As busy as we both get, it has been an absolute godsend to have someone who just gets it to debrief and decompress after long shifts with. Don't get me wrong, surgical training can be so rewarding, but my god, it is overstimulating at times. And let's be honest, who doesn't love spilling some hot work tea? Hello, good morning. Today I'm in theatre on an operating list, so happy days. I think it's such a good sign when the thought of operating makes you smile this much. There was an F1 doctor with me in theatre on the other day and she's decided she wants to do surgery, and she was telling me she realised she wanted to do surgery when she noticed how happy she was on the way to theatre or walking into theatre, and it instantly just made her more excited. So for those of you still deciding your speciality, that's a pretty good test of whether surgery is for you. So yeah, I'm excited. And what a beautiful day. So blue. So I get changed, my patient list notes are ready, and there's no sign of a patient. Not to worry, I seize the day and use the time waiting to eat my peanut butter and banana bagel, and eventually patients arrive and we get started.
Hello again. So I am back home now after a alright day of operating, actually. The list was a bit complex in terms of logistics and the patients themselves, so I didn't get as involved as I would have liked to, but that is life, that is surgical training. But actually sometimes there are really good training opportunities and there are other barriers to you accessing them, and it's something that I'm recognising in myself and really trying to work on, is that I am not very good at advocating for my training needs as well. Of course, the priority is patient safety and making sure we get through the list safely and keeping to good time, but within that you want there to be some surgical training incorporated as well, and it is possible to have both, otherwise how would anyone ever learn? But I think it is probably a confidence thing that I'm not always so forthcoming in asking when I think there might be a good training opportunity, asking to do certain steps of an operation or certain cases. There's a lot of factors that weigh in on this. It depends on your relationship with the consultant, how willing they are to train and how comfortable you are asking for those opportunities with them. It obviously depends on the caseload, the type of patients, the type of operations. But me not being very forward in asking for training opportunities was really highlighted. Quite recently, I was on a list with a consultant and he was asking my colleague and I, who were both on this list with him, what we'd want to do in that operating list. My colleague very clearly said he would be happy to do the operation from start to finish, whereas I was very much like, oh, I could do maybe, one step of it, a couple of steps of it. And the consultant said, look, I've seen you both operate and you are both at a similar skill set level. He's seen me do this operation a few times with him now, beginning to end. And my consultant was saying, you need to be more confident. And I know why you've answered the way you did. It's because you're a woman. And initially I was really confused and not really understanding where he was coming from. But then it kind of became a whole theatre discussion with the anaesthetist and the other members of the team as well. And they were telling me that there's actually research been done into this, that women are consistently underestimating their skill set, and this has been shown in medicine and in surgery specifically. Obviously, I did a bit of a deep dive into this, and turns out there are loads of papers that have looked at surgical trainees where they are comparing what women estimate their skills to be and men. And to be fair, both usually underestimate themselves, but women are consistently shown to do that to a much greater degree. And, there are two ways to look at information like this. One is thinking, great, another thing for women to figure out and work on. Or the other way that I'm choosing to look at it now is to just be aware that often when we're having these thoughts of imposter syndrome or not being able to speak up about your skills, to just recognize that that is quite irrational and actually switch our thinking to be much more rational and fact driven. So often we say we can't do something or something is too difficult, failing to recognize or acknowledge that we've done that thing before, we've done harder things before, and we've come out the other end successful. That is easier said than done. It's something I definitely need to work on. So that is my food for thought now. And speaking of food, I'm gonna go make some yummy dinner and I'll speak to you soon. Hey guys, excuse the slick back hair mask look. Actually, let me move you closer to me. Today is Wednesday, and as I made the decision to go less than full time this year, Wednesdays are my midweek day off. So I decided to go 80% of my normal working days this year, but I've stayed 100% working for my on-call shifts. So in normal weeks like this week where I'm just working normal day shifts, I get my Wednesdays off, which is honestly probably one of the best life decisions I've ever made. And it's kind of ridiculous actually. My working hours still work out to around 43 hours on an average working week, which is considered full-time for pretty much most other industries. But for some reason in the NHS, we've decided that 48 hours is actually full-time. So this morning I got up nice and early, I've been to Pilates, went to a coffee shop, did a little bit of work there, and then made it home. And now I'm home and doing a bit more work on my laptop. So my less than full-time days are primarily to work on things like this, my YouTube channel, work on other sort of side projects, other things that bring me joy outside of work. One thing I've realized about me is that I really enjoy a lot of things, but if I do too much of it, the novelty really wears off. I don't know if it's an attention span thing or just a general enjoyment of low-level chaos. And that's definitely the case with surgery. As much as I love and adore it and sometimes can't believe it is my job, I know with slightly less time at work and with these regular inbuilt breaks, I am so much more able to be fully immersed in training, put my best self forward, and just enjoy it so much more and therefore get more out of it. So I'm gonna get back to doing some writing for some YouTube scripts, and then I've got a online meeting this afternoon. So I'll get back to that and check in with you guys soon.
Sometimes I get asked, what did other people think about me going less than full-time in surgery? And although my department were incredibly supportive, sure, there was a raised eyebrow or two. Something I come back to are the lessons Bronnie Ware shares in her book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, where she collected life lessons from people who were close to the end of their life. The top, most common regret was, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. I think about this most days. It's what allows me to act in a way in line with my own values and happiness, without any regret whatsoever.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh my god. Sorry, it's really loud. My neighbours enjoy loud music all the time. That was so nerve-wracking. I've been feeling so nervous about that meeting all day. I just feel like such an imposter talking about, you know, businessy stuff. I can't talk too much about what I was talking about, which is so annoying. I hate it when people do that. It's such an exciting part of my week when I get to work on this kind of stuff and use skills and parts of my brain that I don't get to day as a doctor. After I'd finished living my best less than full-time life, I continued living my best less than full-time life on a very makeshift piece of garden furniture where I read my book and caught a little bit of cheeky evening sun. Why did I just say cheeky? Ugh, ick. Another day, another ward round. There's not much operating on at the moment given it's the Easter holidays, and so I whiz around seeing the ward patients with my team, and then together we go through the list and divide jobs over coffee on the sunny rooftop terrace. Filming at work is no joke. I have to be discreet so I don't lose street cred. If you work with me and saw me filming, no you didn't. Hello, this is Editing Surina from the future. I'm just editing and watching this footage back and wondering why I didn't have any more clips from this day, and it's because a very unexpected and exciting development occurred, which the outcome of is actually on my channel already. So go back and watch these videos on the screen now to find out what happened on this very day, which meant I did basically no filming. Hello everyone, made it to the end of the week. I started the day doing ward round with the team. Not a huge fan, as most surgical trainees, of being on the wards, but it's a really nice time to hang out with the rest of the team, have a chat with the juniors, grab a coffee, and I'm gonna get rid of this to get rid of the dinner lady look. And then I got a call from a registrar asking if I'd be okay to do one of the emergency theatre cases because they were opening up some extra theatres and they could do with a couple of extra hands. Obviously, I jumped at the chance to do a laparoscopic appendicectomy, which is keyhole removal of the appendix when it gets all infected and inflamed and causes pain. I did it with a colleague who was slightly junior to me, and it's such a different experience doing an operation with someone less senior than you versus someone who's more senior and more experienced, and it was really difficult. I wasn't actually able to complete the operation. The consultant had to come in, have a look, and scrub in and finish the operation because of how infected and inflamed and horrible it was. And that's fine, that happens, but it's really easy to beat yourself up about it and wish you could have done it yourself. Surgery is one of those professions where you're getting kind of immediate feedback all the time and you're seeing your progress in real time, which is such an amazing part of the career. It's one of the things I love. It's really satisfying watching yourself get better, but it's also repeatedly very humbling. Even if you think you can do an operation, it can be presented in so many different ways. There can be an easy version of it, a really difficult, horrible version of it, and other complexities can arise. Anatomy can differ, so it's not like if you can do one, you can do them all. And it's taken a lot of work over the last couple of years to be a bit more self-reflective rather than self-critical. That's definitely where I started, especially in my first year of training. Always thinking about the things I didn't do and wondering how I was doing compared to other people and really beating myself up about it. And it's taken a lot of work to shift that critical mindset to a more reflective mindset, which is so much more productive because you're actually trying to get better, you're actually learning from yourself. Easier said than done, as most of the advice I seem to give on here. Thank you so much for coming along with me this week at work. If you want to see other days in the lives, weeks in the lives, then check out these other videos on my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll see you soon. Bye.